What's going on, man? We back with another video, dog. Before we do anything else, all praise to the Most High. Today we have you were the one, you were the only one ordered to kill El Mencho. I don't know what this is about to be, but look, to the cartel, I don't want no smoke, bro. Anything I say in this video is all props. This shit is not real. Whatever Lil Durk said, but if y'all would like to, you know what I'm saying, work together or whatever, you know what I'm saying, call my phone or something, you know what I'm saying, never mind. Let's get right into it, bro. What they like my ass.
Part 1. The Dirt Tierra Caliente, Michoacan, 1966. Hot land. That's what the region's name means.
Like
And it wasn't just geography.
Like his name
it was a sentence. The land told you everything you needed to know about what was waiting for you here. Heat, labor, nothing else. Nemesio was born on July 17, 1966. 6 brothers. A small plot of land. Avocados. Wake up. Work the fields. Hands cracked by the end of the day. Sleep. Repeat. He dropped out of school in the 5th grade. 10 years old. Not because he didn't want to learn,
like
because the house needed food, and food required hands, not books. By 14, he was guarding marijuana plantations for local growers. Stop right there.
I apologize. He don't look like his name, Doug. My bad, bro. I just realized who we're talking about here.
14-year-old boy, standing in a field, holding a weapon. Not because he was dangerous, not because he was ambitious, but because this was the only available job for a kid with no education in a region where the drug trade was the largest employer. No factory, no school pathway, no safety net. Just this. One door, and it was already open. The world didn't choose him. It just only ever showed him one direction. Part 2. California. He was a teenager when he made the decision, not to leave crime, to leave Tierra Caliente, to leave the cycle, the dirt, the poverty that had already mapped out his entire future without asking him. He crossed the border illegally into California, San Francisco Bay Area. Fake names. Ruben Avila, Jose Lopez Prieto, Miguel Valadez. He rotated through identities the way other immigrants cycle through jobs, whatever it took to stay invisible, to stay alive. The future leader of the most powerful cartel in Mexico was an undocumented immigrant hiding in plain sight, hungry, broke, just trying to survive in a country that had no intention of letting him stay. 1986, San Francisco. Police arrested him. Stolen property. Loaded firearm. He was 19 years old. 2 months later, his first child was born. He was a father now, with a criminal record, in a foreign country, without papers. He kept going back and forth across the border. The wall wasn't a wall to him, it was an inconvenience. And then came the moment everything changed. September 1992. Part 3. The Ba3, the San Francisco. Imperial Bar. Nemesio and his brother Abraham walked in. The deal was straightforward. 5 ounces of heroin, $9,500. Abraham handled the transaction. Nemesio stood back, watching, reading the room. And then he noticed something. The bills were too clean, too perfectly stacked. Real buyers don't hand over money like that. He signaled Abraham. The conversation was later recovered on a wiretap. Never deal with those men again. 3 weeks later, both brothers arrested. And here is where Nemesio did something people still talk about. He sat down with his lawyers. He listened. He understood. Abraham already had prior felony convictions. If this went to trial and they lost, Abraham was looking at life. Nemesio stood up and said guilty. 5 years. He took the sentence to save his brother. Big Spring Correctional Center, Texas. A facility packed with undocumented immigrants. He served 3 years. Got paroled. Got deported. 30 years old. Criminal record in the U.S. No education. No money. No future. Back to Mexico. Part 4, the badge. This is the part that people can't quite make sense of. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes became a police officer. Cabo Corrientes and Tomatlan, small towns in the state of Jalisco. Municipal police force. Why? Genuine attempt at a straight life. Strategic cover? Both? We don't know. The records from this period are thin. No clear picture survives. What we know is this. A man who had picked avocados as a child, sold heroin in a San Francisco bar, and spent time in a Texas prison was now wearing a badge and patrolling Mexican streets. And then he took the badge off and put something else on. Part 5. The Marriage. The Merger. The Milenio Cartel. Jalisco. The Valencia family. Western Mexico's organized crime backbone. And Nemesio needed a way in. A real way in.
Bro, imagine having that many lives by the time you 30, bro. That's crazy. You really done did a lot of traveling. You should have a whole lot of connections by now, though, which might have been what led him to what he doing or what he did. Long live El Mencho.
Not as an employee, not as hired muscle. At the table. The problem was simple. This world ran on bloodlines, on family connections, on inherited loyalty. He had none of that. So he bought one. Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, sister of one of the cartel's key figures. The marriage wasn't just romantic. It was a diplomatic treaty. Security analysts later described it as diplomacy through marriage. The man who had nothing was now seated at the inner circle. And he had no intention of just sitting there. Part 6. The Education. Cartel boss Armando Valencia, El Maradona. Nemesio became his personal protection, head of assassins. Then, in 2003, El Maradona was arrested. Los Zetas attacked. The Valencia family fled to Jalisco. In Guadalajara, Nemesio helped forge an alliance with the Sinaloa cartel through a powerful figure named Nacho Coronel. And under Coronel, he stopped just being muscle. He started learning the entire business, logistics, finance, politics, international supply chains, how money moves, how power survives. Then the dominoes fell.
Worked his way up.
Fast. 2009. Milenio's top leader arrested. 2010. His brother arrested. 2 months later, Nacho Coronel, killed in a military shootout. A decade of power structure. Gone in under 12 months. Milenio fractured. One faction wanted a man called El Pilo to lead. The other, backed by the Valencia family, stood behind Nemesio. The split turned violent, and the faction that chose Nemesio gave themselves a new name, Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG. El Mencho at the top. Part 7. The Ghost. What he built over the next decade. Mexico had never seen anything like it. CJNG didn't just traffic drugs. They went to war with the government itself. May 2015, the cartel set up coordinated roadblocks across multiple municipalities simultaneously. Shot down a Mexican military helicopter. 3 soldiers killed. The message needed no translation. We can fight your army, and we can win.
I suggest
The
y'all
business
leave
model
us the
was
hell alone.
industrial.
That's what it say.
Methamphetamine, fentanyl, cocaine, heroin. They controlled seaports to import chemical precursors from China. They built laboratories. They managed distribution networks stretching from Jalisco all the way to the U.S. Midwest. The DEA said it officially, one of the most powerful and fastest-growing criminal organizations in the world. And El Mencho himself? Barely a photograph existed of him. El Chapo gave interviews, built tunnels with motorcycle tracks, met celebrities, chased fame alongside power. El Mencho wanted none of it. No interviews, no public statements, no profile. Just control. Every act of violence was strategic.
Boss.
Dismembered bodies left as messages. Banners hung from bridges. Execution videos uploaded to social media. Each one was a memo sent to rivals, informants, and the government alike. He ran the entire operation with the discipline of a man who understood that visibility was the fastest road to a prison cell. Part 8. One by one. First, his son Ruben. Arrested. Extradited to the United States. Then, his daughter Jessica, arrested in the U.S. for financial dealings tied to the cartel. Then, his wife Rosalinda, arrested in Mexico in 2022. Then, his brother, incarcerated. The people closest to him, removed from the board, one by one. He kept operating. He was hiding deep in the mountains of Jalisco, Michoacan, Nayarit, moving constantly, communicating only through intermediaries, surrounded by former military mercenaries. By 2020, reports surfaced that his kidneys were failing. He allegedly had a small hospital built in a remote village, just to manage his own treatment. Think about that for a moment. The most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere, $15 million bounty. On every law enforcement agency's most wanted list, U.S. Navy SEALs training Mexican Special Forces specifically to find him. U.S. intelligence agencies feeding real-time information to Mexican military. And he was in a mountain village getting dialysis, not hiding, just surviving. The noose was tightening from every direction. Mexico's president, under enormous pressure from Washington to show results against the cartels, gave the military broader authority. The operation to find him had been years in the making. He had nowhere left to move. Part 9. Tapalpa Sunday morning. February 22nd, 2026, Tapalpa. A small mountain town, 2 hours southwest of Guadalajara. Deep inside CJNG territory, Mexican Special Forces launched the operation before dawn. They were met with armed resistance immediately. A firefight broke out across the town. When the smoke cleared, 4 cartel members were dead at the scene. 3 more were wounded, including El Mencho. 2 others taken alive. The military seized armored vehicles, rocket launchers, and an arsenal of weapons. El Mencho was alive when they pulled him out, wounded, loaded onto a military helicopter. Bound for Mexico City, he died during the flight. 59 years old. Somewhere between the mountains of Jalisco and a hospital he would never reach. The avocado farmer's son from Michoacan died on a military helicopter. Part 10, The Fire. The news spread within minutes, and CJNG responded the only way it knew how. Jalisco, Colima, Michoacan, Nayarit, Guanajuato, Tamaulipas. Armed gunmen torched vehicles and blocked highways across nearly a dozen states simultaneously. Guadalajara went dark. Burning trucks shut down every major road. The city went silent. Civilians locked their doors. Public transportation suspended. The governor went on television and told residents simply, stay home. Puerto Vallarta, popular tourist destination, future World Cup 2026 host city, a riot broke out at the local jail. A guard was killed. Smoke rose over the skyline. Guadalajara International Airport, active shooter situation reported. Videos showed tourists sprinting through terminals in panic. American Airlines immediately waived change fees for affected travelers. The U.S. Embassy issued shelter-in-place orders across multiple Mexican states. Canada's embassy told its citizens in Puerto Vallarta to hunker down and wait. A National Guard member died during the initial operation in Tapalpa. 6 more National Guard members were killed in Zapopan, a city adjacent to Guadalajara. A state prosecutor's agent was gunned down in the street. Schools were canceled across several states the following morning. The cartel's message was delivered without a single word. You took our leader. We can paralyze your nation. Part 11. What comes next? El Mencho is gone. His son is in a U.S. prison. His daughter is in a U.S. prison. His wife is under arrest in Mexico. His brother is incarcerated. The immediate line of succession, empty. Security analysts are already drawing the comparison everyone feared. When El Chapo was arrested, the Sinaloa cartel didn't collapse. It fractured. Warring factions turned entire Mexican states into war zones. That civil war is still producing bodies today. CJNG is not a small local operation that dissolves when the boss dies. It is a sprawling network with regional commanders, deep financial infrastructure, international supply chains stretching across 3 continents, and thousands of armed operatives in the field. The cartel will splinter. Regional bosses who operated under El Mencho's authority will move to fill the vacuum. Alliances will break. Territories will be contested with blood. What happened on Sunday was not the ending. It was the opening chapter of whatever comes next. Mexico has been here before. Every time the government eliminates a cartel leader, the celebration is brief, and the consequences stretch for years. The question is never whether the cartel survives. The question is always, how many people die while it reorganizes itself? The Arc, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes.
22nd, 5 days ago, bro.
Born in a dirt-poor village in Michoacan, picked avocados, dropped out of 5th grade, crossed into the United States illegally as a teenager, got arrested selling heroin.
Got out of 5th grade. And a whole lot of other stuff. Y'all want to call me? Y'all should hit my phone, bro.
In a San Francisco bar.
In the
Took
comments
a guilty plea to save his brother from a life sentence. Served time in a Texas prison. Got deported. Came a cop. became a hitman, married into a cartel bloodline, survived the collapse of 2 criminal organizations and built a third from the wreckage, turned CJNG into the most powerful cartel in Mexico, trafficked fentanyl on an industrial scale, ordered assassinations, shot down military helicopters, terrorized an
Straight
entire
gangster.
nation, hid in the mountains for years while his kidneys failed and his family was arrested one by one, and died on a military helicopter at 59 years old, with a $15 million bounty on his head and a country burning in his wake. The avocado farmer's kid from Michoacan became the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere. But here's the thing that matters most. The conditions that created El Mencho did not die on that helicopter. The poverty didn't die. The corruption didn't die. The demand didn't die. And somewhere right now in Michoacan, a kid is standing in a field, deciding whether to stay or cross, whether to take the one door that seems to be open, the same door that was open 60 years ago when a boy named Nemesio was 14 years old and someone offered him a job guarding marijuana plants because there was simply nothing else. The game hasn't changed, it just lost a player, and the machine he built, the machine he bled for, sacrificed his family for, spent decades hiding in mountains for, will keep running. It always does. The name changes, the product changes, the faces change, but the roots, the poverty, the absence of choice, the one open door in a room full of
Stay
locked
the
ones,
same.
none of that died on that helicopter.
Yup.
That never does.
Just
If this story made
evolve.
you think, drop a comment below. Subscribe for more. See.
Ah man, pray for Mexico, cause for the next couple of years, oh boy, oh they finna, oh my God, hey, uh, if you a U.S. citizen, I advise you not to go to Mexico no time soon. I don't think that's a smart idea. They shooting down helicopters, and their leader just died. I don't know who this dude is. I mean, her, her, man, shit. Hey, good luck, Mexico. That's all I can say. That's all I. Now it makes sense. That's never mind. I was about to say something wild. Y'all have a good night. Eat fruit. Uh, get you some money. Don't go to Mexico. Catch y'all in the next one.